You're listening to the world-famous White Roof Radio, Woofcast number 620. Tonight brought to you by MotoringStripes.com, CravenSpeed.com, HIDExtra.com, ooh, new sponsor, and now Motoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and style. It's on Motoring.com. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Perfect.
I am ready.
Awesome. Hey, everybody. It's DB in Arizona coming at you with a brand new episode of the world-famous White Roof Radio. I'm talking funny tonight. I apologize for that. We're here to talk about Mini Cooper stuff for you like we like to do. Joined this evening with a shortened crew because Gabe's drunk at a baseball game and Todd's drunk in front of a poker machine in Vegas. So tonight we get the good Reverend Mr. Chad Miller from Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. Chad, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
And Alex, fresh back from a trip to France and Southern California, is joining us as well. Alex.
Hi, everybody. And kids listening to the show, do not drink as much as Todd and Gabe do. It's not funny.
It's just not pretty.
Well, it depends on what you're drinking, because Gabe is probably more of a beer guy, where Todd's a gin guy, and gin has been proven to help your metabolism. So Todd is actually losing weight by drinking.
And, Chad, you know, it's really funny that you bring that up, and a lot of you guys out in White Roof Radio Land play along with the Don Burnside home game. But you know that tequila will lower your blood glucose levels?
Who knew that?
I did.
So this is a health tip.
This is a health tip. If you suffer from diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and you're looking for, your blood sugar spikes, try like half shot of tequila and a walk around the block.
So yeah, if you have diabetes and if you want to lose weight, just get wasted on the regular.
There you go.
Just drink tequila and gin.
Done.
Wow, I think that's actually probably more helpful than going to WebMD.
Yeah, maybe there is a company to be had here in health. It's like a very interesting space. So,
I was going to say, like, at the end of our podcast, you won't think you have another disease. We're just going to help you with things you already have.
Do you know who we need for this show now? We need Charlie and Sean for this. They would be very helpful in this particular enterprise, Alex. Make that happen for us, will you?
Yeah.
The new show title, The Disease You Think You Have, the Mini Cooper.
I don't think we need to scare people away. Like Mini US are not great already, so
we don't need that. Oh my God, Chad, that's good though. Anyway, we're here to talk. We're not going to talk about odd diseases or try to cure you of what ails you. We are going to talk about Mini Coopers. We have this very cool classic Mini that I'm sure all of you guys have already seen because it was all over Facebook last week. But I think it's cool enough for us to talk about again. We also have some interesting images of the refreshed F56. We are going to talk a little bit about Mini Cooper's resale value. And at the end of the show, just because I'm feeling generous, I might let Alex talk about the new Star Wars trailer. Maybe.
Ooh,
I don't even know what just happened. Was that music from the new Star Wars trailer, Alex?
Sorry, no. It was I was listening. I was watching the rewatching rather the video about Mini Remastered, and one thing I know we're going to talk about it, so I'm going to keep it for the show.
Save it for the rest of the show. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, we're going to talk about all that, and who knows what else will come up. We're going to talk about that as well. Probably an AVIV reminder in there someplace too. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys about we're going to pay some bills. We have some really fine sponsors helping us make this fine podcast that you guys enjoy so much, and we do have a brand new podcast sponsor for this episode, and I want you guys to do the cool White Roof Radio thing, and I want you to guys go over and support them like bosses that you are. There's a link over at whiteroofradio.com. That's a company by the name of HIDExtra. They're at HIDExtra.com. Since 2008, these guys they specialize in like headlight systems, lighting systems for your car, right? You want to go over there. There's a link at whiteroofradio.com in the show notes, or just go to HIDextra.com, and you're going to get the view of the best HID and LED headlight conversion kits and accessories for your Mini, and a whole bunch of other makes. So if you guys don't just have Minis, you have other cars in the house, they'll be able to hook you up with like upgraded headlight systems for your cars. And as a bonus for you guys, and you're going to have to boogie because this bonus, I think they're going to run this out to the end of the month. If you use the coupon code of Mini15 when you check out, you're going to save 15% on your order. Whoa, pretty strong. So I want you guys to go over there. I want you to check them out one more time. Do the cool White Roof Radio listener thing. Let's welcome this new sponsor underneath the White Roof. Go over there, check out the site. If you need headlights for your car, you don't have xenons. You want some that's a little bit more upgraded. You need something. Your wife's car's lights are kind of yellow, and you want to get some nice popping white lights on her car. I want you guys to go over and check out hidextra.com, and don't forget, use the code of Mini15 at checkout. You're going to save 15% on your order. Thank you very much to those guys, and thank you very much for you guys to checking them out. hidextra.com. Thank you very much. They sell some really cool looking stuff. Have you guys checked them out yet?
I have not checked them out. I will do so right away.
I know Todd's interested because Todd's Mini doesn't. Whoever configured Todd's Mini didn't get xenons with his car. He's got regular old halogens, so he was checking it out. So we'll see what they do for him. Be pretty cool.
You mean the Roadster, right?
Oh, was it the Roadster? Yeah, it's the Roadster's got the
Because on the JCW, I think he has the
he's got the xenons.
Black xenon headlights that turn like when you turn the steering wheel.
Right.
Cool.
Very cool. Anyway, go over there, check those guys out. One more time, that's hidextra.com. Thank you very much. This is where I drop in some news music. Let's start with actual news. And this one is, we've got a refreshed Mini hardtop covered in swirly graphics. And I think this is probably going to be the LCI car. And we found this via motor1.com. There'll be a link in the show notes. It's also over at motoringfile.com. There's a link there, and Gabe put a big write-up on it. But, fellas, I'm looking at this car, and I'm not seeing a whole lot of changes to the exterior.
No, you're right. Like it's so there's a very few. Usually, when there's a lot of changes, we see a lot of swirly graphics, and it looks like most of the changes are targeted toward the headlights, and then some internal changes with the engine, with the transmission, with some of the stuff we've seen in the Clubman and the Countryman, for the infotainment system. I gotta say though, the bumper is still the same. I wouldn't be surprised if like you just slap the bumper from the Clubman on there and with the swirly graphic thing for it, because there's nothing new about it. It's already exists, right? While the headlights and the backlights, like it's kind of a new thing. Yeah. So I'm still hopeful, like they're not gonna keep this front end bumper. Like really, it's they gotta do something about it. Like they can't keep it for another 3 to 4 years.
Right. Exactly. And I'm wondering on the taillights too, if they've made them maybe a little bit smaller. Because, oh my God, the taillights on that car. Your car, Alex. Oof.
Yeah, they're pretty significant. Yeah. It's a thing. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have looked at the Vision, the Mini Vision concept. That car looks really nice. I mean, I like the way it looks, honestly.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. I've got to, because we've talked to Gabe, and Gabe said that there are drastic changes coming for the front end of the F56. So
that's good.
Yeah, because that's everybody goes, I can't get over the look of that car. So I'm hoping they do something to make it look a little bit more pleasing to the eye and less like it's safe to hit people with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's funny because like I'm looking at the Vision concept and I'm wondering if they disregard like any regulation when they design those kind of things, or if they still take them into account. But if they did take it into account, like it looks really nice. I mean, it looks really well done, like the front end and the overall proportion of it. Like it's really well done. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've been thinking about the LCI for a couple of weeks now, and came with some wish list of things, and the bumper is obviously on top of it. So if they don't do anything with it, it's kind of unfortunate, kind of sad, but I don't know.
Right.
What other things you guys would like to see change on the car?
I haven't got to spend a lot of time in the F56 side. I wish I had, but the only thing that really bothers me about that car is just the front end. It just makes me nutty because the interior is already really nice. Alex, you live with it every day. It'd be nice to get CarPlay in there, which is supposed to come with the LCI, and they're doing a couple changes to the engines. looks like just changing the cooling system, but not really so much in the change in the size of the motors. But they're going to change the cooling system to optimize the combustion to help reduce CO2 output, which would be nice, I guess. Less pollution, that's always a good thing.
Yep.
Make them quieter. Anyway, Gabe put a huge write-up on here, so you should go check it out.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. And the one thing that doesn't faze me much is the transmission, because I used to have a DCT on my 135, and now I have the F56, which is not a DCT. It's a revised version of the previous transmission with a completely revised software, and it's really quick, really snappy. And I don't see much difference between the two. And so, Gabe keeps mentioning it, so it looks like it's a big deal. But I don't know. It's not something that I would pay extra for, because I like the current automatic transmission. It's pretty good.
I would have to agree with you there, Alex. In fact, that's one thing I keep noticing is because my Roadster's got an automatic, and I remember the first automatic R56 that I drove. It was a 2008 S, and that automatic in that car just was awful. And I don't know I don't know if it was a combination of the motor or the motor and the transmission, but pre-LCI it was just ugh, it was not a good combination. I don't know, Chad, have you had a chance to drive a first gen R56 with an automatic?
Yeah, it's not horrible.
Because I just remember it being really bad, and then I get into my car, and I'm finding my car drives really nice with that automatic.
The Gen 2s were definitely better with the automatic as far as that goes. Obviously the Cooper CVT was horrible.
Oh,
I mean, that thing had huge lag. The S's were obviously a leap and bounds better overall as far as the lag went. Overall reliability was pretty good, and then the second gens had a little bit faster response, but the reliability was perfect.
Right.
So, I mean, overall they keep getting better. So I can't imagine that the F cars, which I have not actually had a lot of seat time in, would be any less than any of that, as well, better than that. So.
Right. Well, I know that a DCT transmission, that's a dual clutch transmission, is supposed to be better than shifting yourself. Quicker, faster. That's what the Ferraris use. That's what all the cars are using nowadays, the big supercars. And, they shift quicker than a blink of an eye. So we'll see if it actually comes out. But it's supposed to be, wicked fast. Anyway, if you want more information about the LCI, there's Gabe put up a too long didn't read post over at motoringfile.com. Moving on. This I thought was cool. I don't know if you guys saw this. Of course you guys saw it. It was all over Facebook. So there is a company called David Brown Automotive. And I believe that they're over in England.
Yes, they are.
And what these guys are doing is I imagine in England there's just a zillion classic minis floating around everywhere in all manner, shapes, or forms. Right, they're just sitting on lots, rotting away to nothingness, and because they built that car all the way up to 2001 or 2, there's got to be a zillion of them over there. What these guys are doing is they're taking them, and they're basically doing not just like a frame-off resto, but like a frame-off rebuild restoration.
Cool.
It's really like incredible. Like I'm looking at the car, and so I suggest people watch the video and go on the website, because they have a website with a configurator. Like that's pretty cool, and you can just create your car and submit the brochure to them, and then I guess they come back to you with a pricing and everything.
Yep.
I wonder. Gabe doesn't mention pricing on the article, right?
It's over on the website, but the pricing, if I remember correctly, was something like, it was ridiculously expensive, Alex. It was like almost $50,000 or something.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I look at the interior and I see CarPlay in there, and it's funny. That's the only thing I would need. Like, I don't need anything else when I think of it, right? Like the car can be like the engine, the brakes, like everything can be a little bit outdated compared to the technology of today's car. But it doesn't matter. Like, it drives awesomely. I'm sure it sounds awesome. And then you have CarPlay. Like, what else do you need? Like, you don't. There's nothing else you need.
Right.
That's ideal car.
So They strengthen it. They put in all kinds of sound protection. They completely re-engineer the whole interior. It's like completely different. They've actually added electronics. The paint job itself takes like 4 weeks on this car. That's painted by hand. And it's insane. If you guys haven't seen this yet, I highly recommend you go over and check it out. You get custom colors, the whole bit. But, it is not very cheap. In fact, let's pull up on the website. Let's just see if we can find out. So there's a film, More Than a Feeling.
Shop.
So first thing you have to do is you have to pick your body color, then you pick your roof color, you pick your wheels, and then you get a response. But I saw someplace that it was like, I'm not kidding, it was like $50,000. But considering they're saying this car takes 1,000 hours, it's like, well, okay, if that's what you really want. Yeah,
and they also do another car, the Speedback GT.
Oh, yeah.
Is that based on an Aston Martin? No.
Yes, I believe that is based on an Aston Martin.
Oof. Yeah, that must be really expensive. And it looks really nice.
That actually almost looks like a... What is that? This looks like this might be their own car. But it kind of looks like
it's not a GB5. Like it's too.
It looks like a Studebaker.
Yeah. But it's really nice.
Anyway, I want you guys to go check this out. I'm going to put a link over to davidbrownautomotive.com in the show notes, so you guys can just go over there and dream all you want and play around with it and go crazy. Go over and build yourself your own super kick-ass mini remastered classic Mini Cooper.
The sad thing about it is that you can't get it in the U.S.
Except that you can't get it. Well, if they got you an old enough one, you could.
Yeah, because it would be past the banning thing. Like it has to be 25 years old or something like this, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and if you got it in green with a white top, and then you drove it to Arizona and California, so me and Alex can have a ride in it, that would be super nice.
Yeah, because.
Yeah.
And then you have to drive it out to Detroit so Chad can have a ride too.
Yeah, I need my ride.
Yeah, you have to take it to Minis on the Mac.
Right, everybody's going to be looking at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be a good time.
Yeah. Speaking of Minis on the Mac, that event's coming up here fairly soon. We got Dragon around the corner. We got Ambiv around the corner. We got Minis on the Mac this year. I actually looked into possibly going to Minis on the Mac.
Do it.
Well, it's a week of driving.
2 days. 2 days.
Really. No, it's 20 from here to the bridge. It's 20. It's 2,200 miles from here to the bridge. Yikes! That's a lot of driving. I'm kind of a sissy these days. I don't know if I could actually pull it off. I'm still looking at it. I haven't given up hope, but that's a lot of driving.
You could always ship your car to me, and then pick it up at the shop. You drive up. You drive down, you ship it back home.
No, then I could drive home from there because then I only have to deal with 3 days worth of driving.
Yeah.
Right?
It's up to you.
No, that's not a bad idea.
A couple hours up, a couple hours down.
I like it.
Normally to ship a car anywhere from $250 to $500.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
No, from here
you have a plane ticket, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That's not a bad idea, Chad. I'm going to do some further research on this. Anyway, if you guys are going to do minis on the Mac, you want to make sure you get signed up for that. Just search Minis on the Mac on Facebook. I'll link it up in the show notes, and that way you get signed up. Chad, you're going to the Dragon, right?
Yes, I will be at the Dragon and Minis on the Mac.
Nice. When is the Dragon? Isn't that happening soon?
Dragon, we leave May 1st.
Oh my God.
Like 12 days away.
May 3rd through the 7th. I know I'm seeing that on Facebook. People are starting their prep now and doing the oil changes and swapping tires and brakes and getting their cars ready to go for the Dragon. But this is the 15th annual Minis on the Dragon. Wow.
Yeah.
15 times this is done.
I felt really bad for a gentleman that called me yesterday. He had his car in Chicago area, and he was going to go to the Dragon. His first Dragon ever. He was so excited. and it needs an engine now. So it kind of the car's not making it to the Dragon, but he will. So he's gonna be driving. I think he said like a Ford Escape or something like that. So hey, we welcome you to come enjoy the event, regardless of what kind of car you are driving.
Yeah, just take some pictures of your car and keep them on your phone, and just go. No, really,
totally.
guys, I belong here. Just I'm waiting for a new engine for mine.
Yeah, every time somebody's like, "Oh, what kind of car do you have?" You just pull out the phone and be like, "Hey, this is my car. It's all shined up and in the garage, waiting for its new engine."
I gotta say, driving the Dragon on an Escape is rough. It's gotta be.
It is. Yes.
Yeah, I get to drive the Dragon once, and that was in that JCW Roadster, we had, the motoring file JCW Roadster. And there's a picture of it floating around there somewhere. I just found it again and shared it someplace. But that was a good time.
It's a road that has speed limits, which is 35 miles an hour during all times of the day and night. Because it is a public road, and you should obey all speed limits as posted.
If I remember correctly, I had a great time driving that road, and I believe I was right at the speed limit. Mostly because slow traffic, so I was like a Grandpa Gold Toyota Camry in front of me or something. But I was right at the limit, and I still had a good time.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting. If you actually try to set your cruise control at the speed limit, you can't do it because you always have to slow down for the corners.
Right.
For most cars, anyways.
Well,
but yes, it is very hard to do the speed limit on that road all the time. But you also find yourself like, how did I get going so fast in certain spots?
Right.
And you don't even really realize you did it until there's a cop behind you. And then you're just like, oh, those are really pretty lights. Here's your award, sir.
Yes, here's your award. Anyway, that's coming up as well. And then don't forget to, by now, if you guys haven't registered for AMVIV, they've already closed registration. I hope you got a hotel room because I think the deal on the hotel room ended this week.
I would like to correct you on that. I think maybe I have some information that you don't even know.
Uh-oh.
I read on Facebook, because that's everybody's news media outlet nowadays, that they've extended it to April 25th.
Oh.
The hotel was like, you know what? You're doing so great. We want to keep you coming.
All right,
and
so guys, listen, who's going to AMVIV? If you're going to AMVIV, you're going to want to stay at the host hotel. It's the Silverton, which is a completely nice hotel, and it's a really great venue for us to go here, right? And not only that, but it's a smoking deal to go. The room nights it's nothing for the whole weekend. It's for a hotel in Vegas, normally, like if you're up on the strip to stay in a hotel for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, would cost you close to $1,000, maybe more. This hotel, for 2 people, I've already booked mine, and it's going to be like $320.
And if you have a really good night one night, I'm sure they'll probably help you out with that hotel room.
See, there you go. A little bit of gambling, boom, pay for your last night in the room.
Just ask Todd.
Just ask Todd. Todd will give you. Todd's going to be having a video poker seminar during AMVIV this year.
I need that.
Yeah. Anyway, make sure you do that, and if you haven't, also go over and register for AMVIV as well. I'll be there. Todd will be there. Chad, you're not going to be there.
We're still up in the air. I may just
Chad might just show up. So yes. Chad might just be there. Alex is going to be there. Alex, you're going?
It's kind of the same as Chad.
Well, I hope to see you at AMVIV. It's going to be a good time. As I'd like to see your car. I'm sure you'd like to see mine. It'd be great to have all of our car. Well, Todd's car won't be there, but it'd be nice to be able to see your JCW to start with. That'd be pretty dope. Anyway, I'd like to see everybody else there as well. A mini vacation in Vegas, amviv.com, amviv.com. Go get yourself registered. Maison Dragon, I want to see pictures. In fact, I'm hoping, not this show, but I'm hoping for the next show, which will be Woofcast 621. I hope that we have really cool dragon photos that I can just put up like a big collage of kick-ass dragon photos, because you guys are going to go to Instagram, you're going to tag White Roof Radio, or on Twitter, you're just going to do an @ reply to either one of us there, at White Roof Radio or at White Roof Radio on Twitter or Instagram, or you're just going to upload it directly to the Facebook page. I want to get a whole bunch of really cool dragon photos, and I want to use those for the image for Woofcast 621, which will be the next show that we record. So make sure you guys actually get those for me and tag us all over the place. Awesome.
Question: Brian is coming to Amviv?
Brian is currently in Austin for the GP race. I do not believe Brian will be at Amviv.
Okay.
But he was also still up in the air, and I will find out from him next week if he will be attending or not. All right, really quick, I want to tell you guys about one of the other fine sponsors here underneath the white roof. And that, my friends, is our friends over at outmotoring.com. I want you guys to go over to outmotoring.com. You know why? Because I do. Because outmotoring.com has all the cool stuff that you want for your Mini. I want you to go over to outmotoring.com, and when you get there, first thing I want you to do is, if you don't already get the Outmotoring email newsletter, so I want you to do that very first. As soon as you get to the site, there's a newsletter sign-up box. I want you guys just put in your email address and hit the subscribe button. You know why? First thing, you find out about all the good deals, any sales, any specials that might be happening. Not only that, but Aaron also includes a 5% discount coupon in every email. So as soon as your email comes out, you get your own 5% discount coupon. Boom, it's right there. Done and done, right? And then you can click over to outmotoring.com. You can see, like, today's the 19th, and you're going to see that there's a big sale, saving up to 64% on a whole bunch of things, right? What is actually on sale? Let's go see. This will be pretty cool. We're doing this live in the show. Big sale on stuff.
So exciting.
So exciting. So we have 31 products on sale. Oh, yes, we got polo shirts, a lot of shirts, Bluetooth, the little mini rearview mirror Bluetooth speaker, a Bluetooth speaker. It looks like a gear shift, hats. Oh man, there's all kinds of stuff. Grow badge holders, dude. There's all kinds of things on sale over at outmotoring.com. Why don't you guys go over there and check it out? Not only that, but this is car event season. Well, like we've already mentioned, the Dragon, Minis in the Mountains, Minis on the Mac, Amviv, all that's happening. You want to make sure you're representing. And you could just go down to the mini dealer. Boring. You go over to outmotoring.com. He's got a way bigger selection of all the cool stuff that you want. The hats, the shirts, the shoes, watches, anything else for your person to personalize yourself, anything that you want to personalize your Mini, anything that you need to actually repair your Mini. Don't forget, a full line of DIY products, just like going to the parts desk at your dealer. Outmotoring.com's got you covered for all the weird, crazy parts. And if he doesn't have it, he'll get it for you. But there's a good chance they're adding like hundreds of SKUs every month. It's amazing the stuff you can get. Right down to, like, those crazy little plastic clips that you need for different body panels, and the body panels that you need those little plastic clips. Outmotoring.com has you covered. Go over there, check it all out for us if you'd be so kind. And then, of course, our friends over at Outmotoring, outmotoring.com. Mini performance, speed, and I love mini hats. That's outmotoring.com.
So wait, they have like shirts at $5 and $7. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, exactly. It's not cute shirts, like $5.50. The Alpha Mini T-shirt, $7.50. I mean, there's some cool stuff going on over there, and it's on sale. Plus, there's like the regular selection of things. Go over there, check it out. Good grief.
At Morning Parts.
Yes, thank you very much for supporting our fine sponsors. Okay, now this is one that I posted over at dbmini.us. And we were going to try to talk about it last time, but we didn't get a chance to. And one of the reasons, and I don't remember if I talked about this in the last show, but one of the reasons I got rid of my R56, besides the fact that I was, I had a really high interest loan on it, was the trade-in value on that car had dropped to almost nothing. Literally, Kelly Blue Book was telling me that car had a trade-in value of $1,600, which is
very rough.
That's rough.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. What's the opposite of cha-ching?
I mean,
Wah, wah, wah.
to give you an idea, I mean, it's not the same market or everything, but my mother just sold my 1D.
Yes.
A couple months ago for, I think it was 3,000 euros. And
What?
It was a 2003 Mini 1D.
A 2003 Mini 1D.
With 100 kilometers on it.
With
100,000 kilometers.
With 100 clicks, and she sold that for €3,000. My Mini Cooper, which was a 2008 with 100,000 miles, so quite a bit more use out of that car than your Mini 1D, with a value that was substantial, half as much, on a car that was newer, but it had more miles.
Yeah, but it's like that's not normal. I mean, it's me not normal. I guess that's the campaign, but it's like it's not much at all. Like it's frustrating a little bit.
Yeah, quite frustrating, and just because oh, there it is right there. Thanks, sir. Just because I don't know, I go back to my R50, and Chad, you could probably speak to this as well. I haven't run any of the older cars through Kelly Blue Book lately, but when Roxy had 100,000 miles on the clock, she still had a trade-in value of something like, I don't remember, like $15,000.
Well, not like 15,000.
It was probably, I think it was still 12. It was over 10,
was probably
Chad.
higher.
It was over 10.
I was going to say it was, depending on the time, I would say definitely in the eights.
Because that would have been 2000, 2003, 2000. That would have been late 2004, early 2005. So
well, the Gen 1 cars have definitely still held their value much better than the Gen 2 cars have.
Right.
And you look at any of these, oh my God, don't buy this car because of whatever article by whoever, you always have like a PT Cruiser on there and you stuff. So yeah, you've got a Gen 1 Mini on there because they're like, oh my God, the power steering. Oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Oh, power steering. Well, you know what? That's kind of a mute point now because the government said, no, what? You're going to have to change this Mini. And they pretty much changed it on all those cars.
Right.
So that, yes, there are some stuff, that does need to be done to those cars. But, those cars do need maintenance. They're 10, 12, 15-year-old cars on some of these things.
Right. All
cars need maintenance. Okay. So when you get down to it now, you look at the Gen 2s and you're like, oh, well, it needs a timing chain. Well, that's not really easy because I can't just do that in my garage. I need special tools. I need a high-pressure fuel pump. And they're like, oh, my God, how much is that?
Right.
Oh, no, I can't replace that.
Right. Or a turbo.
Or turbo or major oil consumption. Or then you put on just a couple of other things that is basic maintenance. Okay, so you hit a pothole, you need a wheel bearing, maybe you need a new wheel or a tire because you also hit that pothole, and now that car needs a high pressure fuel pump. Now you've got a car that needs conservatively $3,500 worth of work,
right? And has a value that's nothing because
the car's only worth $4,000 or $5,000 because it's a 2007 and it's now 8 to 10 years old or whatever, and that really kills the value of the car.
Right.
And say you did something to need major engine work. Mini took that engine and was like, well, we want to start making some more money. Instead of a $4,000 or $5,000 engine, we're going to make it $9,000 now.
Yeah. No, and Chad's not lying.
10.5, yeah. So I mean, realistically, like at that point, if you needed a new motor, unless you're totally upside down on this car, or it's like your mom's car and she died and you love your mom dearly, don't rebuild it because you are going to be completely upside down in money, and you could go out and buy a brand new car for the $10,000 you're going to put into that car.
Right.
Way better, So it's a very difficult point for me to be at as a tuner or a mechanic or even a shop that only works on those cars, because basically I'm telling people don't fix these cars anymore, and that to me is not a good sound business plan at all.
No. So Chad, when you're telling people this, what are you telling them when they roll in with like the first generation R56s, the 2007 to when was LCI 20? Alex, when was LCI on the R56? Was
2011.
2011, and basically those cars suck. If you have one of those, not all of them, okay, not all of them. There were some good ones in there,
I mean,
but
there
the Cooper,
people, they were like
the Cooper, the first gen Cooper, it was a pile of junk.
It was. Well, if you had a bad transmission.
I didn't have a bad transmission. It was just not. It didn't feel like it was solidly built. It didn't feel like a good car. It felt loose and stuff fell off the mirrors. The mirrors delaminated
all of those
and came
Gen
off.
1 cars kind of felt loose overall.
Yeah.
But it's still the better car, though.
Well, I mean, when I say Gen 1, I mean the Gen 1 of the R56, not the R50 or the R53. I mean the pre-LCI R56 cars.
They were they were different. I mean, they definitely took a huge leap forward as far as build quality. I mean, Felton ever even thought about in the Gen 1 cars and stuff like that. So, I mean, they definitely did better, but the owners that were like, hey, Mini, you're smoking crack, you 15,000 mile oil changes, ha ha ha.
Right.
You know, those people that did the oil changes, those cars are still doing really, really well.
Yeah.
And they're higher mileage, and they've had to do a few things here and there, but overall, those cars have still been really good. But the cars that are like, well, yeah, it's got 60,000 miles and 3 oil changes on it, it's like, well, good luck with that car, because you're going to have a problem, and I don't have to tell you when or how. I just know it's going to happen.
Right.
So I'm almost wondering if, and I've said this theory before, did Mini preemptively decide to kill this car somehow because of these things? There were things that they did to make their own outcome better on them, but did they make it so that that particular car is not worth rebuilding and that they just disappear altogether?
Huh, Chad, that's a very interesting hypothesis.
Well, we could think of, millions of cars that have been out there. It's like, oh, I remember that car was so popular.
Right.
Ago. The first Ford Fusions, those cars are just gone.
Right.
Where did they go? And they sold a S-load of those cars.
Right.
So, the second gen Ford Fusions are still out there, but where the first gen goes. So I'm wondering if Mini did that with that engine. It's like, okay, well, we don't want people to really repair these cars because they're going to be a thorn in our side, just like X or Y or whatever. So maybe we just make it so that the engines are so expensive nobody wants to repair these, and we don't sell any engines, or we make a lot of money because somebody did.
Hey, hang on, Chad. I have to finish folding my tinfoil hat. Hang on.
Right? Exactly. So, maybe it didn't get that far. I don't know, because we've talked about the Mini management and how disorganized it is, and how just it's all over the board, and nobody really knows what's going on, and new people are coming in and going out, and so basically you're saying that with the reliability of the N11 engine, that that's why you're saying that replacement parts are so high, possibly in hopes that people just stop fixing them. The first gen R56 cars, the 07 to 11s. Yeah, but with all of the changes that Mini's had, did they really come up with that decision? I don't know. It's a hypothesis. It's a good theory. It's it's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm probably completely wrong. But it's one of those things. It's like I've seen January 1st, every single Mini part has gone up, and some of them by a lot.
You've mentioned that. And
is that because they're trying to kill that car off and just be like, so sorry, Charlie? But if you look at Mini's track record with, in fact, any manufacturer's track record with lawsuits with the car, the Gen 1s had a couple, but the Gen 2s have had massive lawsuits, and they're paying out the nose right now for a lot of things. So is that because they really had a problem and they didn't really think that through? I don't know. But
interesting.
Some of the stuff that we sell as a manufacturer, we've obviously sold a ton of turbo oil lines on these cars. Right. That is a major failure point, but it's also been a major failure point on the Peugeots. I sell these to people in Australia and Europe that need that particular part for those cars too. So we know that it's not just a Mini specific failure rate, it's the engine failure rate. So we know that, unfortunately, Peugeot should be, taking a little bit of this, at fault, not just Mini themselves. Mini made a fairly decent body. Overall, they fixed a lot of things from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2 cars. Rust around the taillights, rust on the boots, overall fit and finish of the interior, the suspension woes, the power steering issues obviously were huge. I don't know of any single Gen 2 car that's had a power steering issue. Not that it won't happen, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, that happened on my R50. So
right, exactly. So the car itself that they designed was really good. It was purely the power plant that made those cars an issue, which again falls back onto Peugeot.
Right. Well, not just the power plant, Chad, but from my talking around, I mean, I lost both of my exterior mirrors. They just they delaminated off of the backing. One of them I caught and I was able to Gorilla Glue back, but the other one I had to replace. It was $90 for a piece of mirror.
Yeah,
$90.
and I've seen that a little bit here and there, but again, not necessarily because of Michigan. Everywhere in the country has these, and this goes to any car. It doesn't matter whether it's a Gen 2 or a Gen 1 or whatever.
Right.
You're going to experience things different in Arizona in high heats than we would in Michigan, because you're like rust in the boot. What is that?
Which I never saw. Now, Chad, but as an example, in my R50, I never that car. I drove it for 13 years, had 305,000 miles. The rearview mirrors never fell off. You know, and that had the initial build quality issues, you know, the boot latches and locks and the bad leather on the seats and the steering wheel. But once all that stuff was fixed, it was bulletproof after that. The little niggly things that, you know, the power steering pump, and once all of the weird shit got fixed on the R50, it was problem free, and it was just mechanical stuff like regular wear and tear maintenance after that.
I think they tried to realize it's like, hey, we got a real popular car here, we should redesign this. But then they also decided to, like, okay, we're gonna spend some money in some places but cheapen money in other places, which is where you come into that. It's like, okay, if we use a half a pump of less of glue to hold that mirror in place, we could save $100,000 a year in glue product, because we could then now make 600 more mirrors because of that or whatever. And then somebody didn't realize, like, well, if you don't use 50 ounces of glue on the mirror's going to come off. If you're only using 30 ounces of glue, you can't do that. Those people didn't talk to each other, or they didn't know, or whatever. So there are some ways that, you know, manufacturers all the time are trying to cheapen up, production costs and try to save. I mean, that's why they made a 15,000 mile oil change, because it's like, if we can save 5 quarts and 1 filter plus the labor for the dealer, we could save hundreds of millions of dollars in that. You know, so they take a gamble. They try to figure these things out, and, you know, they're just trying to save a buck like everybody else, and produce a quality car. So, is it I don't foresee that being a malicious going, ha ha ha, we're going to save 1 barrel of glue and we're going to, you know, F the owner. I think there was some things that were just accidental. Yeah. But I think other things down the road, they were like, oh crap, we shouldn't have done that. Right. And maybe
that's all the stuff. And that's all the stuff they fixed with the LCI, you know, with the N18 motor and all that, right? Because I mean, I've got the Roadster, and the Roadster is essentially an LCI car, and that car's solid. This car is as solid as my R50 was.
And it's interesting, you know, we don't see the same of the problems that we do, like on a Countryman, that we do on a R56. The R56 motor is really much more cramped into the engine bay. There's a lot more heat. There's a lot more failure rates on things. Right. Where the Countryman, it's a little more open. It's a little more airy. You get a lot more wind through there. We don't see a ton of failure rates on those cars that we do on that particular motor in the R56. So, you know, again, some of those are N18s, N14s, and stuff like that. But still, we don't see the major failure rate. And I don't know, I could probably go into one of the Countryman groups, and I'm sure that they've all had, you know, some high pressure fuel pump issues. Yeah.
Everybody's got something wrong that they have to complain about on the internet.
They've had some fuel footwell module issues and stuff like that. I've seen that myself personally in some of those cars, but overall the leakage issues and some of that stuff, I don't see that as much on the Countrymans as I do on the R56s. Right. So
Chad, let me ask this, and Alex, you can chime in too if you want. Do you think that all of this, the overall, you know, the increase in price of parts and miscellaneous reliability issues, do you think that might be what's causing the resale value on minis to drop so drastically?
What do you think, Alex?
I think Alex is getting a new bowl of macaroni and cheese.
I definitely think that that is contributing to it. Right. I don't think Mini has thought about trying to kill the car off personally myself. I mean, it's a good theory, but I don't necessarily think that they put that into into the mix.
Fair enough.
But I do think that they realize that they're not making enough money on certain stuff, and they are paying out on lawsuits. So they're like, well, how do we make more money? We can't necessarily raise the price of the car, but hey, we can make money on parts. I think that's why parts are going up, because they have to pay for these lawsuits somewhere. And executives and employees and whoever, they still need to make their salaries, so they have to have that money coming in, which is why parts have gone up. As far as the resale value of the car, I definitely think that there's enough problematic stuff that have gone on with the car that it has gotten eventually around to people. Even your sleazy back alley automotive, for sale lots. They're like, I did one Mini, I'll never do it again. That car is just a nightmare. I don't want anything to do with it anymore. And even those guys, I mean, a dealership can't take a car to auction and have somebody buy it because nobody wants it, because they know that they're going to get stuck with a car that they can't fix by themselves, because they can't just put a PCV valve in it, or they can't just make the ABS sensor work, or they can't just do things because, again, you take a dealer tech tool, you need all of these special items to make the car function. And also the price of some of the parts have just skyrocketed through the roof. I mean, those high pressure fuel pumps used to be $350. Now they're $1,300.
Right.
Just add $1,000 onto that?
Yeah.
Is that because Mini just is like, well, we know that these are going to fail. We just need to make some money.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. But
I don't either.
Other parts that Mini knows that are going to fail, like the turbo oil lines, they make a very cheap heat shield for it, which used to be, $20-$30. Now they're $5, and they've been $5 for a really long time.
Right.
Why did they change all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And I'm sure part of that because a manufacturer is like, well, we got to order for 20,000 of these. We got to make 20,000. This is going to be your price. And then Mini's like, oh, well, thanks for that 20,000. I need 200,000 now. They're like, oh, well, we can make them cheaper now because you know that we're going to be making them for a long time.
Right.
So there is a little bit of that factor going on, but they also have made it so that the dealers have to buy them and put them on cars because of a quiet recall or a mandated, hey, we're going to fix this.
Right, or just a tech bulletin.
Yeah, tech bulletin, basically, which is kind of a recall, in sorts.
Yeah.
So that means that somebody has to buy those and put them on for a car, and they have to make it economical. So now they're $5.
Right. There you go.
So I got a comment about it. I don't think the price of the spare parts affects directly and I could be totally wrong, the value of that generation.
Sure.
I think a lot of it has to do with the issues that Chad has mentioned.
Yeah.
Also, to keep in mind, there are way more R56's generation cars than there are in the previous generation.
Right.
Way more. And so obviously that brings the price down. There was up until in 2013, I think, was the highest volume sales volume I think Mini USA ever had.
Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
For the generation. So yeah, that also we need to also take this into account. But no, the issues are definitely affecting the resale value of the car. Like that's what you get when with turbo engine,
right?
Amongst other things, obviously.
Right. So let me finish this and let me just ask. I want to ask both you guys this question, just because there's a lot of people out there, and I know that we have people that listen that don't actually drive Minis, and and I just bought a used Mini, and I don't have a problem with that at all. But Chad and Alex, if I said to you, you have to buy a Mini, I'm going to give you, let's say I'm going to cap your budget at, let's say, $8,000, right? And I say, okay, you can buy R50, R53, or R56. What car are you going to buy?
Personally, I would try first to get to get a good R53 if I could find one.
Nice. What year?
Which is difficult, but my second choice would be an LCI Cooper.
LCI Cooper. Okay, so like a 2011 or newer R56 Cooper.
Yeah, exactly. A Cooper, not Cooper S. Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's a good choice. So either an R53, I'm guessing like a 05 or an 06 R53, Alex?
Yeah, also pre-LCI.
Post LCI, yeah, or a post LCI R56 Cooper.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
good choice. I kind of like that. Chad, what about you? What would you do?
I'm kind of actually along the same lines. I mean, if I were to, because you could find a very low miles R53.
You can.
For $8,000 or less right now with 40,000 miles on it. I mean,
know.
really.
I see those like once, like at least once a month, maybe a little bit less often.
Last year, there were several people that brought me like these really nice, super desirable colors, like very low mile cars that are, they're like, I want 10 grand right now. I mean, are you ready? I'm like, I can't buy a car, and even though yours is jet black on jet black with no sunroof, and it's amazing, dude. I don't have 10 grand right now. I'm sorry, I can't. I got to pass it up. But those cars are out there, and I definitely think that would be very easy to find. But if I had to buy a Gen 2, I would definitely go Cooper. Because I definitely think that they were a little sportier, a little bit better, and a very problematic free, even in an N12 version. Overall, I think that would be fine. But personally, I've always liked the 0304 Cooper S's better than the 5 and 6s.
Really?
I think it was a little more usable power in the right aspect, because as a tuner guy like myself, I'm going to put a pulley on the car instantly. Done. Yeah. If I put it on a 5 or 6, that transmission is so geared to just be that stump puller that as soon as you put a pulley on it, it's almost like first and second gear are useless. I mean, you just spinning tires off those cars.
Got it.
So if you leave it stock, it's not too bad, but you got kind of the JCW. It's a little bit spinny, but as soon as you put a 15% pulley on it, it's like, wow, I just roasted the tires off that completely.
So Chad's going 03, 04 R53. Let's say that it was a good owner that made sure all the things were fixed.
Yeah, I mean, I like the taillights on those better. I like the armrest on them better. I mean, it's some of the stuff that they were like, we need to make this work better for the JD Power.
Yeah.
Nobody needed an armrest on the left side. You're driving a stick. Come on, make this happen. So,
and that stupid mini Finny cup holder.
You know what? It's not bad. I still sell those to this day. I still have people that really want them. Yeah,
yeah, but they were included with the car, though.
They were for quite a while, but we see cars that have run the gamut through things. I mean, you could go on any Facebook group right now and be like, "Oh, my car came with no owner's manual," because where did they go?
Right.
They should have been in the glove box, but they're not. So a lot of stuff gets taken out or gets broken. I mean, especially that particular cup holder. If the driver was shifting a little more aggressive and the cup holder wasn't slid to the passenger side, then they slam into that cup holder and then they bash their knuckles and they get pissed and they rip it off. Or it was on the passenger side and the passenger moved the seat and then broke the cup holder off. So I mean, it's one of those quirks.
All right. But so I'm with you guys on what car I would choose, but I'm just going to say I would choose a 2013 Mini Cooper Roadster.
Yeah, obviously you would.
Yeah, I mean those two-door cars are super nice. I mean they really are. I mean they're awesome.
This car is remarkably nice.
Usability. I mean, obviously you ride your bike most places, but have you ever had to try to put a bike rack on that car yet?
I've got a bike rack in the car, and that is on my list of things to see if I can actually do.
Okay. Because the hardtop versions are a little bit easier to buy bike racks for and put a bike in should you need that. So as a guy who is sporty and around the town like you are, you might find that the hardtop version would be a little more useful in certain aspects. But the convertible top, it's calling your name. So it's a hot little number.
The convertible top was definitely calling my name, and I'm not going to lie. I'm really not, but it was definitely calling my name.
Did they give you a pair of sunglasses with the car?
No, I had to provide my own sunglasses, which is okay because they're prescription. And I decided because that car doesn't have a white roof, So today, and in fact, that was my selfie picture on Facebook this week, as I am rocking the white Lost Coffee hat. And that is my white roof.
Well, I heard the Lost Coffee is going to be pretty lost here very soon.
Yeah, Lost Coffee's moving to Austin, but that's for another show. Chad, thank you very much. That was really good information. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm kind of blown away. I don't know where to go. I know where I'm going to go.
You could talk about the next sponsor.
Yeah, you know what? Chad, we're like... You can't see me doing the eye-to-eye thing, but we're like on point tonight, my friend.
2 peas in a pod.
2 peas in a pod. You're like a brother from another mother. Let's say about our friends over at Craven Speed. You guys love these guys. I want to let you know, first of all, that if you were one trying to purchase a phone mount for your Mini Cooper or any car, actually, they are all back in stock. They posted on all the social medias and the email today that all their phone mount pieces are back in stock. I want you guys to go over there and check it out. If you're looking for one of the cool Craven Speed phone mounts, including the new one with the magnets on it, awesome sauce. Go over there and look at it. It's very, very cool. Besides that, there's all kinds of stuff over there. So first, I want you to click over to cravenspeed.com. You're going to do that. And then even if you don't have a Mini, I want you to just click on by make. They make stuff for other cars. It might just be a shorty antenna, but there might be more stuff. Maybe there's like a FlexPod adapter, or maybe there's something else cool for the other make that you have in your driveway. Go over and check it out. If you're a Mini Cooper owner, of course, you're going to go over there because if you have a R50, R53, or an R56, one of the cars sells a dipstick and you're tired of that crappy dipstick that comes in the car, you're going to get the Craven Speed one because, well, first of all, it comes in and goes out real easy and you can read it. Very nice. If you live in a state where you have to put a license plate on the front of your car, you're going to want the Platypus license plate mount. Alex has one on his. He loves it, right, Alex?
Yeah, that's one of the best. Well, actually, I didn't pay for it because the guys at Craven Speed are really nice to us.
Yes.
But if I had been a purchase, that would have been the best purchase I made for this car. And I should have done it like a long time ago, even for my previous cars. It's nice not to have to pierce your bumper.
Yeah, okay. My car came from New Jersey, so I've got holes in the bumper that I have to find a way to fill because they didn't, Mini USA didn't think to put the Platypus mount on. Annoying. Not only that, but the stubby antenna so your car doesn't look like it's a remote control car, and all kinds of other cool stuff. It's, of course, if you have an R53, one of the first generation Mini Cooper S's, the first mod you're going to do is you're going to put a pulley on it, and you're going to get the pulley from Craven Speed. Cravenspeed.com. Go over there and check them out. Now, what I want you to do is if you do place an order from Craven Speed, right? There's you can buy stuff from them. It's really cool. If you do, there's a place there you can leave a comment. I want you to make sure you say thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. We really appreciate that. So do they. They, of course, being Craven Speed, cravenspeed.com. Go over and check them out. Not only cravenspeed.com, but if you're punching around like at detroittune.com, Chad has he sells a full line of Craven Speed parts. You can buy them from Chad, and Chad will put them on for you. Awesome. You go to Wayland. He'll do it for you. You go over to Marzo on the East Coast, he'll do it. You're in California. The guys in Torrance there, they'll do it for you. Any of your local shops, they have Craven Speed stuff. Get it from them too. That's super awesome. And then, send Craven Speed a message, use their contact form on the website and say, hey, just so you guys know, I bought some parts, but I bought them from Chad. But thanks for supporting White Roof Radio. That'd be rad. Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're going to have a full selection of Craven Speed parts, including all of the various phone mounts that you can play with on our lovely little display before you get them installed on your car at the Dragons.
Oh, super awesome. So there's another reason for you to go to the Dragon because our man Chad's going to be doing all that cool stuff.
I got a question for Chad about tires, if you guys can.
Let's do that, yes. Now all of a sudden you're crystal clear.
Sound perfect, yeah.
No worries. So the question about tires that I have is that I ran into 2 potholes in the city, and I have 2 bubbles basically on each of the front tire. I'm wondering if I actually need to replace the tires right now because they seem like the car drives fine, the pressure is fine. So I just wanted to have your opinion on it.
Officially, yes.
Why is that?
Unofficially, no. Well, because the sidewall has been compromised, and the bubble is basically the broken belts, quote unquote, in the tire have separated, and you're now getting that bulge. Okay, so at any time, think of it like a zit. it could pop. You don't know when, but that's going to be the weak spot of the tire. So if you hit a pothole just right in the right spot, that tire could just go boom. But you've got to run flat, and it should take care of that issue. But my experience with run flats is always when they have major failures, they have a major failure.
Right.
So, with that being said, I would definitely bet dollars to donuts that you have 2 bent rims as well as 2 bubbled sidewalls.
Yeah.
Oh, because the rims look, I mean, from the outside they look fine. Like I didn't see any scratch on them or anything. So
right, there's no scratches, but there's going to be a bend in that rim. I guarantee it. Because when you have the run flats on the tires and the tire has hit so hard that it bubbled the sidewall, it bent the rim.
It had to have bent the rim if you hit it that hard, because those run flats are pretty robust.
Yeah, they're very robust, and when you get to that point, it's like, okay, it's getting so much force that the tire is like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to brake. So it bends the rim, and then it bends the tire because you've got that much amount of force. So that's not to say that the rims are junk and you've got to just start over, but really to find out how bad that rim is you have to put it on a balancer and kind of spin it, and you'll actually see either a wobble or a vertical up and down or both, Okay. You basically have a flat spot type of thing. And
that's what fix the rim. Like, you cannot fix it. Like, you have to buy another one.
You can. It is totally fixable, but the cost to fix a rim versus the cost just to buy another rim is pretty much exactly the same.
Okay.
And that way you're like, okay, I know this is brand new factory warranted. That's why a lot of these people have been buying the wheel warranties from the dealers. Yeah, it's $1,000 or whatever, but 9 times out of 10, it always pays for itself because you still have the run flats on your car. So they buy you a new run flat and they buy you a new rim because the rim is bent.
Okay, got it.
There you go.
That is good, but I would say that we've been doing a lot of tires this year. I would say most of the cars that are coming in with run flats all have at least 3 bent rims. Wow. And they're all getting new non-run flat tires to make that all work out. We had a guy in the other day. He had 2 broken rims because of that and 1 bent rim. So I was like, well, you need at least 3 wheels. and he's like, okay, well, let me go home and look at tire rack. I'll figure out exactly what I want, and then I'll have you put these tires on, and we'll go from there. But yeah, he had 2 rims that were both broken up the sidewall that were leaking air at some point, and broken in more than one spot. So yeah, it's a pro and a con.
Interesting thing about this whole situation is that the roads in Boston are far worse than they are in San Francisco, and I did hit a couple potholes when I lived in the city, and I never had like anything on my rims, my tires on the BMW, and here I hit like, really wasn't a big one. It was like a tiny pothole. It was a good one, but like a tiny one, and bubble and probably rim bent. So it's kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it is very disappointing, and I wish there was some way around those type of things, but unfortunately, it's the way it is.
There you go. We're overdue for a tire show, so watch out for us to do that pretty soon, because I know it's everybody's switching back to summer tires, so we are way overdue for a tire show. We'll probably be doing that for you guys very, very soon as well. Thanks everybody for listening yet again to another fine episode of us here underneath the white roof. We still are doing Black Roof Radio, and that's a little bit of pre-show. Sometimes it's shareable, sometimes it's not safe for work. This week's episode, it's very nerdalicious. I think it's pretty fun to listen to. It's about 10 minutes or so. You go over and check it out, and you can do that at the Patreon page. All you have to do, if you want to kick in a couple bucks, like $1 a show, boom, you get access to Black Roof Radio. Super simple. If we record a show, we record Black Roof. And like I said, it's not always Black Roof Radio, and sometimes it's 5 minutes and sometimes it's 20 minutes. It just all depends. But you get access to it. You get access to not only the new ones, but you get access to all the old ones that are there so far as well. And it's like 5 or 6 so far. It's turning into its own thing. So if you want access to that, click over to patreon.com/White Roof Radio. Help support us, and you get a little bit of something back. Pretty nice. Anyway, I don't have anything else for this week. You guys have anything else for me?
I am good.
Excellent.
I am good too.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. As always, don't forget Chad over at Detroit Tune, DetroitTune.com. If you're within 2 or 3 hours of the shop, he's doing all the work on your Mini anyway. And of course, MotoringStripes.com for all of the really cool Todd type stuff for your Mini as well. Stripes, Countryman Boot Protector Strip, the Clubman Boot Protector Strip, White Roof Radio Sunroof Delete Kit, and so much more. All for you over at MotoringStripes.com. Because blank is boring. Todd will be putting stripes on my Mini at Amviv. I'm very excited about that and helping me black it out to get rid of all that damn chrome. You know what? And Chad will appreciate this. Todd is so anti-chrome mirror caps. He's already put black mirror caps in the mail for me, and they're probably out in my mailbox right now.
Nice.
Yeah, he's all, dude, I already got that. It's already done.
Yeah. It's so bright, you got to wear shades.
Oh, man, it's brutal. Go ahead, Alex.
So you had like mirror caps like as a spare part.
Yeah, Todd has like stock of mirror caps. He swaps them out, because he doesn't wrap them because it's not worth it. And mine are the power fold caps, so they're different than the standard caps. And he had a set, and he said, "Dude, I'm just going to send them to you." So I'll pop these chrome mirrors off the side of the car, and I'll pop those on right away as soon as they come in. And I'll do the light rings and the all the pieces, and it'll be way less blingy. It'll be nice. You guys will see it at Amviv. Anyway, I think we're done.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks again, everybody, for listening. Thanks for sharing. But this is the part of the show where I do like to make that funny clicking sound, and then I say, questions, comments, or concerns, go ahead and click back over to whiteroofradio.com. There you can leave us a note in the show notes. You can also email us, feedback@whiteroofradio.com. But until next time, gang, this is DB. I'm done.
Cheers.
À bientôt.